Hi, second grade. Happy Friday. I am here to go through the Topic B math quiz results with you. I wanted to start first by showing you our class board. Every student is given a different picture. So for example, pink bowl, gray bowl, red binoculars, just to provide some privacy for student scores. But I wanted to show you that overall, the 25 students that have taken the quiz so far, we have an average score of 70%, which means that over half of us have passed the quiz. So that's really exciting. One thing I did just want to note quickly, of the 3 questions, it looked like question 1 and question 3 were the trickiest for us. So those will be the ones that I'm talking about today. Another thing I wanted to share, several students actually left many pieces of each question blank, only giving them partial or part of the credit. So next time you are taking your Edulastic quiz, just be really careful about going through each part of the question and filling it in. Otherwise, you are missing points on that, and it doesn't really give us a good idea of where you're at. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get started. Wanted to review with you the difference between rows and columns. Rows go side to side, left to right, or horizontal. Okay, rows go side to side. So in this array, there are 3 rows. However, if you're looking for columns in the same array, columns go up and down, or top to bottom, or vertical, we say. One of the things that I shared with some students this week is that the way I remember the difference, there is an L in the word column, and L is a letter that goes up and down. So that's just a little trick for me to remember that rows go side to side, columns go up and down, because just like the letter L, it goes up and down. Hopefully that will help you. The other tricky piece is that when we were asking you to write repeated addition equations, sometimes students were forgetting to put the plus sign in, and sometimes students were forgetting the equal sign. Mrs. Jones shared with me that she tells her students it's like making a complete sentence when you're writing. You have to have the equals sign and the answer at the end. That's like your period that tells you where to stop. And it's not complete if you don't have all the parts. So if you don't have the numbers, the plus sign, and the equal sign, it's not a complete repeated addition equation. When you are on your computer and you're trying to type in a plus sign, you hold down the key that says shift, and then you press the key that has the plus sign. That will give you the plus sign. If you just press the plus equal key, it's just going to give you an equal sign. So next time we have the math quiz, I will go through and remind you about that. All right, so our error analysis, going through question 1. This is just a student's example, and you can see that they got all parts incorrect, and that is because they were actually mixing up their rows and columns. So if we are looking at the first part, it says there are blank squares in each row. We need to look at rows first. Remember, rows go side to side or left to right. So there's 1 row, 2, 3, 4, 5. But it's asking for how many squares in each row. So this student thought how many rows there were, and there were 5 rows. But how many squares are in each row? There are 2 squares in each row. So you have to be really careful to look at what the question is asking you, okay? So repeated addition is how many rows there are, but how many squares are in each row. That's like going back to how many groups we have and how many are in each group. So 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2 equals 10. If we're looking at part C, there are blank squares in each column. We have to look at columns. Remember, columns go top to bottom or up and down. So this scholar is correct. There are 2 columns, but it's asking us how many squares are in each column. So we have to go ahead and count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there are actually 5 squares in each column. So then the repeated addition equation, there are 2 columns, but there are 5 squares in each column. So 5 plus 5 equals 10. So really paying close attention to what the question is asking you and just making sure that you're clear on that can really help you. Question 3 was the other one that was really tricky. It says, look at the array below. So here's our array. This array shows 3 rows of blank. So remember, rows go side to side, left to right, or horizontal, however you want to say it. So if we're looking at rows, 3 rows, they're telling you 1, 2, 3. How many circles are in each row? When you've got your answer, tap your nose. Yep, there are 5 circles in each row. Good. Okay, let's look at the columns now. Let's skip down here. This array shows 5 columns of what? So columns go up and down. Okay, when you know your answer, put your finger on your brain. 5 columns of 3. So this scholar got those 2 pieces correct. How many were in each row and how many were in each column. The thing that this scholar missed was putting the plus sign in their repeated addition equation. So this just says 5, 5, 5 equals 15. We don't know. Is that plus or minus? We don't know. So you need to have those plus signs in the middle. So they got the right numbers. They just didn't have all the pieces they needed to make a correct repeated addition equation. Okay, same thing for the columns. If you look at their answer, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3 equals 15. They just didn't quite have all of the pieces that they needed. They needed to have the plus sign. It's not a repeated addition unless you have the addition in there. And it's not a complete repeated addition equation unless you have all the numbers, the plus signs, the equal sign, and your total. So really slowing down, looking at what it's asking you, and making sure that you're typing in what you want. That's really going to help you. Okay? So let's do some practice real quick. How many rows are in this array? Remember, rows go side to side. So there's 1 row. There's a 2nd row. So there are 2 rows in this array. So then what repeated addition equation would match the rows of circles here? We know that there are 2 rows. How many circles are in each row? Count them up. Get your answer in your brain. That's right. There are 5 circles in each row, and there are 2 rows. So 5 in the first row plus 5 in the second row equals 10. So we have all parts of the repeated addition equation: the numbers, the plus sign, the equal sign, and the total. Let's look at one more. How many columns are in this array? Think of your answer, remembering that columns go up and down or top to bottom. 1 column, 2 columns, 3 columns, 4 columns. If you got that one right, kiss your brain. Great. And then the repeated addition equation that goes with this one, 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3 equals 12. Why? Why is that the repeated addition equation? Think about it. Right, because columns go up and down. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 columns, and there are 3 circles in each column. Here's the first column, second column, third column, fourth column. They each have 3 circles in the column. So when you add that all up, that gives you 12 circles total in the array. Okay, before we go, I want to just show you what your Google form is going to look like for your assignment. It's called Topic B Reteach. Remember to write your name, choose your teacher. That's me. Always put me when they're asking your teacher because I am your teacher. They're going to show you the array and ask you some questions. Okay, 3 rows of blank. Type your answer here. Repeated addition to match the rows. Type your answer here. Remember to use the plus sign and the equal sign. Columns of blank. Type your answer here. Repeated addition sentence to match the columns. Type your answer here. Again, remember to put the plus sign and the equal sign. When you're done, click submit. Your answers will automatically go to me once you click submit, so I will have them for grading. You do not have to submit your answers more than one time. If you need any help remembering the difference between rows and columns or how to write a repeated addition equation, you can definitely go back into this video. Good luck, second grade.